Hey guys, I want us to consider how to write the general form or the standard form of a quadratic when you're given a table of values like this. You know, in the past we've been given the equation and then we've come up with the table. So now we're doing it the other way around. So what if you have a table and you have to come up with a general equation? Well, that can be a really hard problem where you create three equations and three unknowns. If you look this up online, like on YouTube or something like that, there's a way to create three equations with three unknowns and then solve that. That's fairly complex. So just kind of depends on what your teacher is expecting of you. But what I want to do in this video is show you a little shortcut with the TI-84 Plus. So there is a shortcut for doing this, and it really depends on whether or not your teacher's letting you use the calculator here to aid in solving this problem. So it's really nice if they do. So there's a couple things though we have to be careful with. The first thing we want to do, we need to make sure that whatever we do with this stat mode, that we clear it out before we try to do other things. So I'll make sure I do that at the end of the video. So anyway, so here's the table. So what I want to do is come over to my calculator, of course, turn it on, get it going, and hit stat, the stat button here. When you hit stat, you're gonna, with it on edit there, you're gonna push enter. And what you're gonna do is in that L1 column, you're gonna put the X values. The L2 column will be the Y values. So I'm just gonna list the X values here. So that's what, -1, and hit enter, and then 0 and hit enter. So just entering these values, going right down the X column there. So -1, 0, 1, 2, and 3. And so what I have at that point is just the X values from this column here. I've listed the X values. And then what I want to do is right arrow over. So hit the right arrow, and it'll jump over to the Y column, and you want to put those in order. Now you need to make sure that you're entering them and they're matched up just like X and Y over here, because if you get them mixed up, that's going to be super bad. So anyway, so now when I look at this, it should look like the L1 is my X values over here, and L2 is my Y value. So I'm just double checking that. 9, 4, 3, 6, 13. 9, 4, 3, 6, 13. Yep. So that's the most important thing, to get those typed in correctly into L1 and L2. Okay, then come up here on your calculator and hit second and stat plot. Stat plot. Notice that the number 1 is off right now, so you want to push enter so that now that's turned on. So push enter again, and that way it toggles to where the stat plot is on. So get it on. And then what you want to do is hit graph. So push the graph button here. See that? Graph. And it should graph a stat plot of those values. Now it didn't do everything because 13 is up here, so I'd have to change the window a little bit. The Y part of the window. So what I did was I hit window here, and then I'm gonna go to Y max and make that a little bit larger. I'm gonna make it 15, and then I'm gonna regraph. That'll make sure all the points are on there. So all those points are on there, okay? So it just kind of plotted those points with a little square instead of a little dot. This is what it did. Now you want to hit stat again, stat, and you want to right arrow over to calculate, and then scroll down to where it says quad regression. That's quadratic regression, and hit enter. And then it's going to say quad regression, and you hit enter again, and it gives you the quadratic equation because it's giving you the A, B, and C values. So what it's saying here is that y equals 2x squared minus 3x plus 4 would be the quadratic equation for that table. So that's pretty cool. It just gives you doing a quadratic regression for those points. So that's super easy. That's a really nice shortcut. And that's how you do it. Now that's the easy way, because it's a lot harder when you do 3 equations, 3 unknowns, you're doing a bunch of algebra and that sort of thing. So this stat mode is super nice. But you do need to go back to, you want to do a couple things. First of all, you want to, once you've got the equation, you've got your answer there, you want to hit second and stat plot and turn that off, because it's on right now. So toggle over and get it off. So you want to undo that, get that off, because when you hit y equals, you don't want any of those plots highlighted up there. So the plot 1, plot 2, plot 3 should not be highlighted. If they are, sometimes that throws things off. So you want to do that. So notice how I did that. I hit second and stat plot, and I've got them all off again. So I did that. Next thing you want to do is hit second and plus sign, which is memory. And it's going to come to this mode, and you want to clear all lists. So number 4 there. So go down to number 4. You want to clear all lists. That will clear out that list that you created earlier. So now when you hit stat and you go to edit, it's blank again. So it got all the L1 and L2 out. So those are some things that you want to do. The other thing I might want to do is I might want to hit zoom. So zoom 6 to get the standard view screen again. So 10 up, 10 down, 10 to the right, 10 to the left, because earlier we hit window and we changed that window, so I get it back on the normal view screen. So those are some things you can do to kind of reset your calculator so that it's useful to do other things that you've been doing with your calculator. Anyway, hope this helps.